I bet it was not in your 2023 bingo card that I would be talking to you about ZocDoc again. I know, I get it. I'm always talking about ZocDoc. And you know why? Because I'm freaking obsessed with it. And guess what? That's not a crime. I've had years and years and years of nightmarish doctor experiences. Truly have had a doctor pull out a Wikipedia page that he printed out and read it to me. And then I had to correct him on something he was saying. I mean, and I'm an idiot. I have no idea what's going on. So when I found out about ZocDoc, I was like, this is going to change my life. ZocDoc is a place to find and book great doctors who actually have amazing reviews, many with appointments available within 24 hours. Also, ZocDoc is free. And also, ZocDoc lets you book appointments online, so you can do it on your phone and you don't have to call and talk to someone, which for some reason is deeply upsetting for me. I hate calling and talking to people. We are talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. Go to ZocDoc.com/BCC and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/BCC. ZocDoc.com/BCC. Welcome to the chain. This is the BCC Club. We're your hosts, Kendahl Landreth
and Sarah Shower. And each week we talk about a weird part of the internet. And what are we talking about this week?
Well, we're talking about gym culture.
Especially in the online age. It more has, gyms have been around for
forever.
Yeah, like the Romans and the Greeks used to throw rocks.
Yeah.
But we're talking about how the internet has influenced gym culture.
Yeah. But honestly, too, gyms I feel like have been the same. Like, their vibes have been the same for a really long time. Like, I feel like there's old sitcoms where they talk about how hard it is to, like, end your membership at a gym and how stressful it is. And I recently did personal training for, like, a couple weeks. Well, I did it for, like, a month, probably. And then I was, like, done with my personal training. And I didn't really want to buy more. And I was just kind of, like... I mean, it's so expensive. Yeah. And I also was, like, I kind of like working out by myself. And I feel like I kind of started doing personal training because I wanted to learn how to use some equipment, and I felt like I'd done that. And it was like breaking up. It was like worse than breaking up with someone. Like, they would not let me leave personal training. And today I was at the gym, and my old personal trainer came up to me while I was working out by myself, and he was like, "You broke my heart. You broke my..." And I was like, "Get away from me." I mean, he's so nice. I like him, but I'm like, you guys make it so impossible to leave the gym.
I love the idea.
Crazy.
You like lift a headphone. What's that? Huh? Oh, sorry, music. I can't.
Yes. I mean, he was like, "You broke my heart." He was like, and I talked to your roommate because he goes to the same gym. Oh. And I was like, "What happened to Kendahl? What happened?" And he was like, "She just doesn't want to do personal training."
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "I don't know. I just don't know what to do." They really don't. It's really hard to quit personal training. I have to be more assertive at the gym than I have to be anywhere else in my life.
No, I used to do like personal training at Gold's Gym, and that was like a full membership, but the closest gym now is LA Fitness, and I'm too lazy to drive. Yeah. And so canceling it was nearly impossible. And so Naomi was like, "Oh, I got it." And they were like, "The trick is to speak half English. So, like, you're too confusing of a customer that they just want to streamline it." So Naomi speaks Polish and would just throw in the most. And they got me out of a gym membership.
Wow.
Like, intentionally confusing them because they're trying to confuse you.
Yeah.
And so they can't handle it when it's from both sides.
Yeah, it's too intense. Well, and now I have 2 memberships. Yeah. This is crazy. For a person who, I go to the gym probably 5 days a week, but I like, if you watch me work out, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty mild." Like I have a little weight and I'm like texting a lot, you know, I'm not really doing intense working out, but I also have a membership at the YMCA. Yeah. Which I'm obsessed with. Yeah. Because it's a little more expensive, but they have like a pool and they have like places to work and they have childcare. Not that I use that, but they have what else do they have? They just have a bunch of stuff, and it's like they have all of this equipment that you can use. They're so nice. They have all of these events, like they have a Christmas tree event or a trunk or treat event and like all this type of stuff. But their classes sometimes, like I like taking Pilates.
Yeah.
And their Pilates class sometimes is for an older crowd.
Yeah.
So I like taking them sometimes, but they're not really like too much exercise. It's like you go in and they'll be like, let's roll our ankles for 20 minutes. And I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
But I got to keep the other gym membership for the classes. But anyways, now I got 2 memberships.
Yeah.
But no one is pressuring me at the YMCA. The YMCA is like a heaven on this earth.
Yeah.
I would recommend a YMCA if anyone wants a new family.
Seriously. I have an LA Fitness gym membership, and Naomi goes more than me, but like I do love the classes because like they are much older crowds.
Yeah.
I feel like if I want to get like I have done like a Rumble boxing, but that's separate from a gym.
That is the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah.
I did a Rumble boxing class in New York years and years ago, and this is when I was like 18. Like I was probably in the best shape I was ever in, and I within 5 minutes had to leave, vomited, and then came back in, and then like laid on the ground because then they moved to the floor. I laid on the ground, and the woman kind of kept coming over and being like, "All right, get up," and I just was like, I truly can't. It was the worst thing I've ever done. And I will never do it again.
Oh no, yeah. Like I even though it's so dark in there, they would alternate between like cardio and boxing. And whenever I would go slower, like she'd always be like, "Go at your own pace, guys," because like she saw me and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm literally leave me alone. Like I don't. But like yeah, if you want to take the slower classes, it's usually in like a larger gym, like like the LA Fitness on their app, you can see all the classes and they're like usually seniors sort of things, but you can go. So it's just a lot of dancing and cycling for older people.
The senior classes are so fun. So my partner and I do water aerobics.
Yeah.
Like once a week or so. And it's with like it's us and then everyone else is probably over 65 to maybe 80 years old. I mean, it's like a pretty old crowd. But it is so fun because all of these women, they're not working out. They just are chatting up a storm. They're coming over to me in the middle of an exercise and they're like, "Tell me about where you're from." Like, I love that. And then at the Zumba, I don't really like Zumba. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge like moving fan. I don't like moving around. I like to do any exercise that I'm sitting down for is like really my type of stuff.
Yeah.
But Zumba is too much sometimes, but my girlfriend likes Zumba. So we went and it was the class with us and then a bunch of seniors. And I'm a very average dancer for someone who does not dance. Like I can keep a beat, but like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
After the class, like 3 elderly women came up and were like, "Where did you learn to dance?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." And they're like, "Because we were all talking. We've never seen you before."
You're like Juilliard.
I know, yeah. It was just like the most mediocre dancing, but they were so impressed with me. And I was like, I love my gals at the YMCA. How are you doing?
Doing good. I just told Kendall this, but my extensions were like, I accidentally pulled them like halfway out, so they were just very asymmetrical. Whenever I'd post a video, people were like, did you get a haircut with your legs crossed? And I was like, no, my extensions are pulled out, but I couldn't get them fixed in New York because I tried to contact different places and they're like, if we didn't install them, we don't fix them. And I was like, you're cutting off a lot of business. But then, so yesterday I was taking a shower and not right before my appointment. And my head felt lighter, so I was like, "Oh, something's wrong." And I looked down, and in the drain, my like extensions were like in the drain, like one track. And I pulled it out, and you know when you pull hair out of the drain, so it was just a lot.
Did you take that into the hair salon?
Yes, after I washed it 3 times, and I also told him up front, "Hey, these have been in the drain," and he's like, "They should be fine if you triple wash them." I just wanted to give him time to put on gloves if he was like, "I'll put it on your head, but I won't touch it." He was like, "They should be fine."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, every time someone talks about extensions, I get
PTSD.
Yeah. And I mean that in the most sincere form. I truly get. So I've seen some comments that are like, what happened to Kendahl getting extensions? I did get extensions. You can witness a little hint of them in the interview we did with Eli Rallo.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing I've ever done. It was a big mistake. It was terrible. And yours look incredible. They're just not for me. Also, I got 22-inch extensions. What were yours?
I think mine are 20.
For some reason, probably just because I'm used to short hair, but 22 felt a lot longer than I thought it was going to feel. And then I panicked, went back the next day, got it all taken out, and cut my hair really short. And this is better for me.
Yeah.
But yours look. But you also do you have naturally kind of long hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
My hair is about the same length as my extensions. I got this because when I would curl my hair, you know, like when your hair's just so thin, it's like, it's not, even when you curl it, it's not like pretty.
Oh, okay.
I wanted like just fullness.
Yeah.
So like if I take them out, they're essentially the same length, but it's just for thick.
For thickness.
Yeah.
That's great.
So how was your wig?
It was not a good week.
Really?
Well, no, it was fine. So we got back from New York.
Yeah.
We did the New York Comedy Festival. Thank you if you came to that show. It was a hoot. It was so
Thanks.
fun. But I was like behind on work, because
Yeah.
whenever you travel for work, it's like you're out of your routine. You're out of
Yeah.
and it's the end of the year, so I have a lot of brand deals. I can't
Yeah.
like film the brand deals in New York because all the products are sent while I'm in New
Yeah.
York. It's just like I got really behind on work. And then of course, anytime I travel, I come back and I'm sick. Like anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime I travel anywhere. So I was sick for like a week. And then on the last day that I was kind of like, I'm starting to feel better, I stubbed my toe and I broke it. And it is really broken. And it is
Which
like
one?
This one, my pinky toe on this foot, but it's like these two toes. So my whole foot, if I take my sock off, it's like blue and black and swollen.
Oh my God.
And now I can walk fine.
Yeah?
Like it hurts, but it's like totally fine. But the first 3 days, I could not walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am so behind on so many things and now I can't walk. And it was just one of those weeks where you're like, my laundry is piling up and
Yeah.
none of my work is done and I can't do anything. It was just so it was stressful. But now I feel like I'm back on track,
Good.
which is nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The end of the year is stressful.
Yeah. Oh
feel
no.
like-
Yeah.
I feel like every person I have, any company I've worked with or anything, it's there's already more work just because it's the end of the year, but also
Yeah.
everyone is so panicked in a way
Yeah.
that makes it so stressful.
Because like you said, when you're submitting ads for the end of the year, they're normally for advertising, it's split into quarters, and quarter 4 is Christmas time, and so you have to submit it before Christmas or a reasonable time so people can order stuff, but also people at the actual advertising agencies have off. So you really, it's
Yeah.
the first couple weeks of December, influencers are frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so stressful. And I feel like and then the people at the companies are stressed out.
Yeah.
I feel like I've received, normally I feel like it's very normal to you send in your ad, it gets approval or it doesn't or whatever. And then they're like, great, it's fully approved. When in the next couple weeks can she post this? But I feel like in quarter 4, it is literally, and this is not exaggeration, I've received emails that are approved, can she post in the next 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's also sometimes I'm not at my phone or
Yeah.
sometimes I'm fully out sometimes in the shower. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And then I feel like that only happens at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal, but at all. It's fine. But I feel like when I'm in New York
Yeah.
or I'm somewhere else, it can get a little backed up to where I'll be I just feel like it's one of those things where I kept being well, I can do this on this day, which is when I get back from New York. And I said that to 20 people.
Yeah.
And then the day I got back from New York was ah!
Yeah.
But it's good. But I feel I'm in a better place and my toe is healing. And
Good.
my sketch show is this week. And I just recorded, my partner and I just recorded our first episode of our podcast.
Hell yeah. What's it called?
It's called Happy Wife, Happy Life. It's launching in January on YouTube. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's gonna be fun. We have some, I think it's good. But we recorded the first one, so now it feels very real. Where I'm we're doing it. And I'm happy to be back recording the BCC Club because we took some weeks off.
Hell yeah, we did. It's just been a lot of traveling, I feel for the both of us.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, does your broken toe make it hard to go to the gym?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And that brings us to gym culture.
Especially in the online age.
Yes. So as of 2019, the fitness industry was valued at $100 billion globally. This industry is expected to reach a value of around $125 billion by 2030. Social media has helped bolster the fitness industry. Fitness, nutrition, and wellness advice are particularly popular on TikTok. The hashtag FitTalk currently has 61 billion views. The tag fitspo has 72 million posts on Instagram. Yeah, it's huge on the internet.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it's wild. And also it's scary because so much false information is spread on the internet. But I always feel anytime I open TikTok, someone's being you need to be drinking a gallon of chicken broth when
Yeah.
you wake up. Or like you need to be eating the leaves of your garden plants every morning. Like something wild. And I feel like everyone's operating. This is a little off topic. I feel like everyone's operating. A lot of people on TikTok who talk about wellness, they act as though our body does not function by itself at all. So they'll be like, here's how to balance your hormones. And obviously, not everyone's body works 100% perfect. So it's like if you have an issue with that, you might have to take a vitamin, you might have to do this XYZ to help. But people will be like, here's how to balance your hormones. Here's how to like make sure bowel movements happen. Here's what you need to eat if you want your heart to pump. It's like, those things naturally happen. You don't have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. It's like if you like take Vyvanse, like Adderall, and that gives you like some residual anxiety, you don't need it. Like say you're not prescribed, and then you start taking like a Xanax at the end of the day. Again, you're not prescribed to like level it out. It's like if you didn't take it, both of them, you wouldn't need either. But I mean, I understand if you need Vyvanse or Xanax.
Right, if you need something, of course. Like I think there's things that I have to take extra of because of my lupus or whatever. But it's like, I just think it's funny because I'm always like, you guys are really trying to like, as if your body needs like someone to computer control the whole thing. And you eating chicken broth is going to help. Chicken broth is really good for you. I'm not, you don't have to drink it every morning.
Yeah. I wish like fitness influencers, I wish actually a lot of content that was educational, like could have like a label at the bottom, like this is like beginner knowledge of like fitness.
Yeah.
And like, cause I mean, oftentimes you'll get shuffled sort of like, I mean, it could be legit, but like this is like beginner info. And then you'll switch to something that's immediately like expert level.
Exactly.
And so I wish they could label it because like you're taking in like all these pieces of advice at once. It's like, no, you should really only move on to this once you've done all the beginner and intermediate stuff, you know?
Yes, I totally agree. There's this person I follow on TikTok, pretty much the only like I would say fitness person I follow, and I met them at VidCon and they were very nice. Mm-hmm. Their name is Health Coles, so HealthKols. They're like the only fitness person I follow on the internet, but they talk about that a lot where they're like, for example, you know when it went viral to do like the 33-30 or no 12-30 3 I don't even fucking know. Yeah, but it was like 12. It was like where you did a 3 or 12 incline on the treadmill for 30 minutes, walking to 3 pace.
Yeah,
and it was like put out on TikTok. It went viral, and it was like being pushed to beginners, being pushed to people who like have never worked out before or like are trying to get back into the gym. And it would be like, this is all you have to do. If you just do this one thing every day, you'll like gain muscle, lose weight, whatever you're wanting to do. And she talks about how it's like, that's a wild thing for a beginner to start with. Like that is so hard. Doing a 12 incline for 30 minutes out of 3, it's like intense.
Yeah.
So she's like, what happens is that all those people go and try to do it and then like can't. And I remember I did that. This was like a year ago, but I went and could literally only do it for 5 minutes. It was so hard. I don't even know if I could do it now, to be honest. Like that's a long time. But only beginners were taking that information, and it's like that's not a beginner workout. Or I feel like people will be like, if you just do 5 minutes on the Stairmaster, do you know how like that burns equal to XYZ? And it's like, yeah, that is so hard. Yeah, I cannot be on a Stairmaster for. First of all, I can hardly get on a Stairmaster. I don't know if you've ever tried to get on a Stairmaster. Yeah. Very embarrassing, and it's very hard. Yeah. But then once you're on, I can only go like 20 seconds. Yeah. And I'm like, I've had enough. This is too hard.
Yeah, no, seriously. I think it's also like, there's so much that could be said. It's like, I wish, could we, but yeah, like, it's like, whenever like a fitness influencer who's like never been plus size in their life is like, and has like a naturally shelf ass is like, you could build this, and it's like this is your genetics. And so like I wish there was like some way to like filter out by like pre-existing, like how you gain weight, like BMI, expert knowledge, because I feel like like walking 5 minutes on a Stairmaster is great if you can do it, but also
it's
like
so hard.
Yeah, and you also can't guarantee that it will burn the same amount of calories, especially if the more weight you have, the more you're going to burn.
Yeah.
I bet it was not in your 2023 bingo card that I would be talking to you about ZocDoc again. I know, I get it. I'm always talking about ZocDoc. And you know why? Because I'm freaking obsessed with it. And guess what? That's not a crime. I've had years and years and years of nightmarish doctor experiences. Truly have had a doctor pull out a Wikipedia page that he printed out and read it to me. And then I had to correct him on something he was saying. I mean, and I'm an idiot. I have no idea what's going on. So when I found out about ZocDoc, I was like, this is going to change my life. ZocDoc is a place to find and book great doctors who actually have amazing reviews, many with appointments available within 24 hours. Also, ZocDoc is free. And also, ZocDoc lets you book appointments online, so you can do it on your phone and you don't have to call and talk to someone, which for some reason is deeply upsetting for me. I hate calling and talking to people. We are talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. Go to ZocDoc.com/BCC and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/BCC. ZocDoc.com/BCC. So, Sarah, how has the industry changed in the past few years?
So as a result of the pandemic, the widespread closing of gyms and studios began in March of 2020. It led into the increased usage of workout apps and streaming workouts. The threat of COVID prompted many to take a renewed focus on their physical well-being. That actually was scary because towards the end of 2020, 2021, I got a gym membership because I got cabin fever, and I would wear a mask to the gym and I'd wipe down everything, and gym people didn't apply. They didn't.
No.
And men are already so gross, especially in the pandemic, they just sweated. They were open mouth coughing, didn't wipe it up. I hate men's etiquette at the gym.
It's so disgusting. And I saw TikTok because I used to be a janitor at a gym, and it would be a woman. Once again, I'm not even need to say this.
It's
of
okay.
course, some women sweat a ton, and some
women
men
are
don't.
gross. Yeah.
And some women suck ass, and some women don't. But I was a gym janitor, and it felt like men would get off on a machine, and I would be like, "It looks like you pissed on this. This is fucking crazy." And then a woman would do the same exercise, same length of time, same even weight sometimes, and it would be I would still wipe it off, but it was same. But then I saw TikTok the other day that was a comedy gym influencer, which SOS help me. Just delete your app. It doesn't need to happen. But he was men wiping down, he was a guy, and he was men wiping down equipment at the gym. And he took one of the little white wipes and just hit for 2 seconds the thing. And then it was women wiping down equipment at the gym. And it was a woman fully scrubbing down the entire thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, why would you not do that?
Yeah.
It takes literally 2 seconds. And I was like, this is such a deeply frustrating video. Because
it's not even a joke. It's an observation.
Yes, about yourself that is super rude and inconsiderate of everyone else.
Yeah.
And being women are so type A and such losers that they're so considerate of everyone, and they're adult people who take responsibility. I was just wow, this is, especially if you've already gotten the wipe. If you're going to because to me, that's the hardest part. If you're at the gym and you work out on equipment and then you're oh my God, the wipe is 200 feet away.
Yeah.
And then by the time you leave, someone's on it. You're oh my God. But it's if you're already holding the wipe and you can't take the time to go wipe it. Anyways, it was just really infuriated me. But so men are just awful at the gym.
They are. It's why they don't wipe their butt too. But as of March 2021, report of the American Psychological Association found that 61% of adults reported undesired weight changes since March of 2020, and 42% reported unintended weight gains. Yeah, because we're all inside. But, so the pandemic kind of gave this sort of boom to, workout apps. I know there was a bunch of tummy burn cardio workout things that you can do in your Chloe Ting, I think it was.
Yeah, that was the viral,
So and now it's just since the pandemic, it was already happening before the pandemic, but now it's just all over social media. So what about fitness and social media?
I'll tell you, there's an increased interest in fitness, especially when many gyms were closed during the pandemic, to help bolster social media influencers who specialize in fitness and wellness. The rise of social media as a whole has led to an increased interest in fitness. Especially because especially on TikTok, it feels it could come up on your page when you're not interested in it. And so then I think some people, I would have never seeked out fitness influencers and but sometimes it comes up and I'm oh, that's interesting. And I watch and then it's being shown to me. So I'm sure they've gotten a bigger audience of people who are on Gym Talk than would have been before. And also social media has helped ordinary people find fitness communities, which I think is great because I do think that's why I like
the why.
I like the why, but I also love Health Coles because her whole thing is she went from like a size 18 to a size 8 pant size, and so she like was she was like not always super tiny and was just like, oh, this is me at the gym. Like, it was like, she's like, and she like eats fast food and it's very healthy. It feels like she's like, here's how to have like a normal life and also like be able to take care of your body as well.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, for a long time, I was just like, oh yeah, I never want to like, one time I saw like a day in the life of a model on YouTube years ago and I was like, oh yeah, I never want to do this. Like ever. Like I'm not going to do this. So might as well just give up on being healthy anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, no, you can have a balance, which is nice. So I feel like she promotes that. But then the why is great too. Yeah, because I think it's nice for me, at least, and less like upsetting, because fitness can feel upsetting in a lot of ways. I think it's nice at the YMCA where it does feel like everyone there is literally there to take care of their body. Yeah. And that's it. Like it's not about losing weight or anything like that, especially like the Pilates classes. It's like you're doing mobility stuff. Yeah. Which feels like I'm like taking care of my body in a way that like is really helpful. Oh yeah. Rather than like being stressed about, like it feels like everyone's goal at the YMCA. It's like an ad for the YMCA. Yeah. Is like to feel better, which feels nice.
Oh yeah. I when I did have my Gold's Gym membership, it was the Gold's Gym that was deep in West Hollywood. And if you're from LA, you know that's where all the gays go. And it was I've had a lot of gym memberships over my entire life. That was the only gym where I truly did not feel some sort of on edge because it was predominantly gay men. Oh, so like I didn't feel watched or anything like that. And it felt kind of good to watch straight guys be squeamish. Yeah. And like I mean, no one should ever feel unsafe, but like, and that's not what, you know, gay men do, like, you know, whatever. But like, it was just nice to be like, look at the straight guys are like keeping to themselves and they're being so
wiping down their equipment,
so girl about it, like, sorry, let me get out of your way, and I was like, at
the gym I went to, the worst time to go to the gym I feel like is at night. I went to the gym last night at like 8 p.m. And there were like, I guess guys go there to just like hang out, like they weren't working out, they were just hanging out. There were two adult men like wrestling with each other. Like they were in the living room on Christmas Eve and they were in third grade. I was like, what are you doing? Like move. Like this is crazy. And then also yesterday I just had this moment that I thought was so funny because I think sometimes I forget that I'm like a woman who like can't, like a man can breastfeed. I mean truly, but I just think about men so little. Yeah. Like I just don't think about them. And last night I was like on a mat doing like exercises and this man kept looking at me and he was just like staring at me for a really long time. And I literally was like, there's a huge hole in my pants for sure. Like my whole vagina is out 100%. Why would this man be looking at me? Like, oh my God, he's probably like, should I go tell her there's a hole in her pants? Yeah. And then I like got up and went to the bathroom, like checked. And there wasn't. Yeah. And I then was like, oh, he probably was just like being
a creep.
Yeah. And I'm so like disconnected. I literally sat there for 30 minutes being like, is there a hole in my pants? Like he must. And then I literally had a moment where I was like, well, I'm wearing Crocs. What if he's like, what a loser wearing Crocs? I just was like, wow, I'm so disconnected from the fact that I could be desirable to a man because I just don't think about it in any way.
That is so weird to think about. Yeah, like when I was straight, like if I would wear leggings to the gym, I'd always like have to do like one of those like, you know, no panty sort of panties, or like a thong or something. But now I'm just full granny panty because like if you see the outline of my ass, and if you like, if I'm just, I don't care. No. Like, like if anything, a gay woman is going to see me and be like, hell yeah. Like that's what it means. Yeah. Like, but like, I don't care if like a dude's like, But Kendahl, do you want to talk about fitness influencers?
Sure. So there's Chloe Ting. We all know her. She did her 10-minute workout challenge videos. A lot of people did the Get Abs in 2 weeks video. She also has one that's like, do this every day to lose weight, ab workout, fire emoji. Get that 11-line abs. 11-line abs? What is that?
Maybe like
Oh, I see. Probably like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. In 35 days, she has 24.9 million YouTube subscribers and her channel is over 3 billion views. I mean, it's wild. She like, I mean, debatably, some of her titles are a bit problematic.
Oh, yeah.
Because you cannot ensure any of this would ever happen. But, I mean, I definitely did a couple of her videos during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's nice. Someone saying something's 10 minutes, I think feels really exciting. Where you're like, oh, just 10 minutes. That feels great to me.
Yeah, I think like so there are some like fitness influencers who go about it the worst way. Like they're like how to look like Bella Hadid and like not like Bella. That's not a bad goal. I mean like it's like very extreme and it's not applicable to most people. I think there should be more pressure on fitness influencers to establish some expectations and like give a lot of disclaimers. And I mean like maybe I'm not watching the right ones, but like you know, I don't mean this is like a lot of info, but if you're going to be sharing about like how to alter the bodies of millions, you should be like, I have never been plus size.
Yeah.
I genetically, here's like a photo of me in high school. That have no waist, big butt, like thigh gap. And so like that does help establish expectations for viewers. I mean, anyone could still watch it, but like they now have like a knowledge of like, oh, this person has always had a thigh gap. It's not like I'm trying to achieve this.
Yeah, I also think it's like so problematic too because even I've struggled with this with personal trainers where it's like, you're not a nutritionist. Stop telling me what to eat. Do you know what I mean? Because most of the time you're incorrect. Like you don't, and I don't know either, but like, I feel like I would have a personal trainer who would tell me something and I would go and like research it and be like, yeah, you're wrong. Like you don't know what you're talking about and what you're telling me is like borderline unsafe. Like not, I mean, it's like not good, like really toxic. And I feel like sometimes with influencers, it will be this really bizarre, like, here's what I eat in a day. And all the comments are just like, not good. Not enough food at all.
It's like, it's so hard because it is that industry where like it does involve health. Like, so, I mean, I kind of prefer taking fitness advice from like an actual, or like dietitian or like my brother is a, he's
physical
therapist. And so like when I ask him for advice, like I know that it's like sound, the medical stuff behind it, but it's sometimes these people are just like can be naturally very fit or like they got into shape in their own personal way. And then that does like, I mean, documenting it is one thing, but when you start to give advice, you have to like really, really, understand what you're saying. Or like specify, you know, if you're like Chloe Ting and you eat like 900 calories and you're like, that's how I maintain this form. She does have a massive audience. So it's like, you're telling, I mean, she's never probably said that, but I mean like.
No, because that'd be crazy. Maybe she has, I don't know. But I think it's hard because a lot of the advice, even like a professional, like personal trainer would give you. It's like mentally unhealthy. Like, so I got into like a tiff with my personal trainer because he was like, well, what are you eating? And I was like, I don't really want to like talk to you about what I'm eating. Like that just feels kind of like not what I'm interested. Like I have no expectations from doing this. I'm just trying to get moving, like whatever. And I've had multiple personal trainers do this where it's like, I'm like, I don't want to tell you what I'm eating. And I'm like, I'm not going to come to you in 2 months and be like, why don't I have a 6-pack? Like, I know, like, if I'm not, I don't have expectations like that, so I'm not going to come and complain. But at the same time, I don't need you to be like, what are you eating? Like, there's just no reason to know. And then I was kind of telling him, I was like, yeah, I feel like in the past, the way I've done fitness has just been like really unsustainable for me because it's like, I am trying to find a way that I could do for like the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So he's like, well, like, what do you, like, if you go out to dinner, like, what are you getting? Like, how could we modify it to be a little like healthier? And I'm just like, thinking about this all the time is not healthy. Like from like like I'm not a therapist, but like I have therapists. It's like from a therapy standpoint, it's like to be thinking about what you're like eating and doing to your body every single second of every single day is like not healthy.
I don't know if I mean, I would argue though, like what you eat is very important to like, I mean, if
I agree totally.
Like energy levels, maybe specifically.
Yes. No, I think that is totally true. I think being like, but I think it's like he say like for example, if I went out to like dinner to get something like more like I guess a more like high caloric meal or a high fat meal, whatever. I totally am like, okay, how can I add some veggies? How can I like whatever? rather than I think he's like, well, okay, but I feel like I've had personal trainers be like, you need to like, and you never should have a tortilla again. Like you should only have a spinach tortilla. You should never have pasta again. You should only have like chickpea pasta.
Yeah.
You should never, like, you need to replace one meal a day with like a shake, blah, blah. All this like is stuff I can do sometimes. Like I do sometimes. But I think to be like, there is no room for not that.
Yeah.
It's just like that's unsustainable.
No,
so
yeah.
it will never continue. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And I also know that, I mean, I've had a trainer in the past who like said that stretching wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Stretching is a myth. And I was like, and then a week later he had a heat stroke from playing a sport all day outside. That wasn't from stretching, but he did not drink any water. And he told me that like casually. And I was like, I am taking fitness advice, how to take care of my body advice from you.
Yeah.
Like you, and it's just, but yeah, I understand like when, also what really annoyed me is that like I wanted to at a certain point be like jacked up top.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't, like, we would do so much cardio and we would do like a bunch of like leg days in a row. And I was like, I don't want to be like a, BBL queen. Yeah. I mean, God bless them, but like I want to be bigger, you know, like big up top. Yeah. And he couldn't wrap his mind around, like he wasn't listening to me. And what it sounds like is this guy's not listening to you.
Yeah.
You're not trying to, I would understand if you went to the fitness person, you're like, I'm trying to achieve a very visible goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I think that's the thing. It's like, if I was like, here's exactly what I want. And then he was like, okay, great. Here's what you need to like eat to XYZ.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to, whatever. Still, I'm like, you're not a nutritionist. But also I'm like, I'm asking for something very specific, whatever. But I think I've continued to go to multiple personal trainers where I've been like, I just want to get moving. And it's like changed over time.
Yeah.
But that was like, now I can have more goals because I think I've been doing it a little longer.
Yes.
Whereas like in the beginning, I was like, so I have not been to the gym in a year and a half. I go probably once every couple years. Like I am not fit. I don't do exercise. So I am literally just trying to get into like a habit. And I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to say. That's when I felt like when personal trainers have been like, here's like, you need to go from 0 to 100. And just like, great, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm more capable now of doing that even. But like, there's no, I think it just feels frustrating. It's like, everyone doesn't want to be a fucking fitness influencer. Like, some people just want to like have, like feel
endorphins?
A little, or like even feel like a tiny bit stronger. Or be like, oh yeah, I'd love to like walk up the stairs to my apartment without being out of breath. Or like, I'd love to feel like, I'm eating to keep my cholesterol down because my doctor told me I need to, whatever. Like, not everyone wants to be like, I need a 6-pack and I want to be like exactly like my personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there needs to be room for that, especially because I think a lot of people could even get farther along if they wanted. Like, if they decided way down the line they wanted to get more into fitness, they're never going to get there if they're just tossed into the deep end. Yeah. And maybe like 2 out of 100 will stick it out. But it's like, I just think for the most part, people are not going to do that. Like, I think there has to be people like that girl, Health Coles. Why can I not remember her name? I'm so sorry. Who's like, because like, I remember when I was first feeling like, oh, I want to like make a change. Like, I'm not feeling healthy. My like, I'm just like not feeling healthy in any capacity. Yeah. And she would have things that were like, not that I eat this for every meal, but it just feels like a nice medium where she was like, here's what to eat if you go to Chipotle. On a, but you're trying to be a little healthier. Here's what you eat at the Habit Burger if you're trying to be a little healthier. Yeah. And it's like small changes where it's like, I don't have to just be like, okay, never again will I go. Because I don't have fast food every day at all. Yeah. Maybe once a week, but it feels like nice to have, to still be like, oh yeah, okay, I can still like go do that, which makes me feel like I could do this for a really long time rather than just like a month, you know? Anyways, I don't know.
No, that does relate. Not to mention like addiction again, but like a lot of times when people try to do an extreme lifestyle change, it's not going to work out. You should wean yourself into it and really physically, mentally prepare.
Well, that's what I told him. I was like, I feel like I need to get, I was like, for me, this is such a mental game. And I struggled because, and I think a lot of people have this, where it's like, I used to have a lot of bad eating habits that were really a tinge of disorder. Do you know what I mean? And so it was really hard for me to, I felt like I couldn't just like kind of get into fitness. It was like either I just wasn't doing it or I dipped my toe in and then all of a sudden I was back to like the bad mentality that I'd had before.
And I was like, I feel like I finally am in a place that's like a healthy place where I feel like this is just something I do for my mental health and something I enjoy and something I'm like, but I'm not expecting anything. I'm not like, when I was in high school, I think a lot of people did this in high school, but you're searching like how to lose 40 pounds in 10 minutes. Please. I'm like wrapping myself with saran wrap. It's like so sad. Like, I'm like, I'm not in that place in any way now. And it feels like sometimes personal trainers are like, no, get back to that place. Yeah. And it's like, why? I don't understand this weird need, especially because you get paid anyway. So why do you want me to be so sad? Yeah.
Well, a lot of eating disorders are based around, like, it could be a lot of different reasons, but it's mainly control sort of things. Because if your life feels chaotic, what's the only thing that you really can control is your body. And so, like, the eating disorder things, it's like if you, without a healthy mindset, it could quickly devolve into like orthorexia, which I feel like is one of the least taken seriously like eating disorders because it's with mainly dudes. Like you see like gym bros who have like 2% body fat and they can only eat unseasoned chicken and rice. And it's like, if this was someone else, this would clearly be labeled an eating disorder. So you have to go in with a very healthy mindset, no all or nothing. Be very in tune with yourself, is what I'm trying to say. Yes. We also got Blogalates. We are mutuals on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
She is, okay, I love her stuff. Also, I love her apparel. Like she's like listens to her TikTok comments and she's like, okay, so you guys want like an oversized jacket, but not that one that's huge. Like you want it to crop a little, but not cropped. And you want it to be like, so she like goes through, she also has like a modest clothing that she's like working on. So if you want some like really good workout stuff, it's available at Target.
Okay.
I know. But I love her. We also have Kayla It Signs. I did follow her on Instagram for a while during the pandemic. She's Australian. A lot of great at-home workouts. And at-home workouts are so great if you can't afford a gym, you don't want to go, you need modified exercises, like if you got bad knees. My hand, like, it sucks because I can't lift a weight for that much longer, so I have to use like a glove if I want to lift a weight, so it has to be like physically attached to me. So that's great for like in-home workouts. But how can social media be beneficial for fitness trainers and their audiences?
I'll tell you right now.
Oh yeah.
While fitness brands like SoulCycle and Barry's Bootcamp can be expensive, fitness influencers are able to provide fitness advice and workout plans for free to their audience. These platforms also allow influencers to build a community with their audience. Yeah, I think that's great because it does feel like now there is a lot more. Where it used to be like, I don't know, when I was a little girl, it was like my mom had the Pilates DVDs and you would do those that you like ordered and then they'd come with a band and you'd do it. But it was like the most in shape woman of all time doing this. And I feel like now it's kind of like people can find their community of people who's like, like I'm a plus sized personal trainer. I'm a personal trainer who has like this disability, or I have this chronic illness, or I have like, you can find people who you can relate to a little bit more, which is nice.
That's like really nice because we'll get into this in a little bit later, but like, not everyone is like size 6 or 8. Not everyone has, most people have some sort of like health problems. I mean, like you have lupus, I've got carpal tunnel, and I smoke. That's my own choice. So, like, I'm going to have to do some modified stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And lupus is your choice.
Lupus is a choice. I do it for attention.
Secondhand lupus. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but yeah.
What are the risks? Oh, sorry. I didn't even finish the last part.
But we can they can build community with, like Kendahl's like talking about like the DVDs, there is a disconnect. Like there is no, and that's like with traditional media, like you can't really give feedback to the news anchor unless they like put a number on the screen. Yeah. And they're like, how do you feel about global warming? And it's just grandpa calling in to like yell at someone.
But even too, it's like nice where it could be like, that woman who had that Pilates DVD, she's like in LA probably, I don't know, it's early 2000s. I can't remember her name, but she's like in LA, she's like famous, whatever. And now it can be like, I'm from Kentucky. I work as an NRA.
Yeah.
Is that what it called?
No, you work at the National Rifle Association.
No, yeah. Well, that could be a specific. I work at the NRA. It's really hard. No, and why am I forgetting this name?
CNA?
A CNA. Yeah. That's a certified nurse's assistant. Yeah. That's what it is.
of an hour. It's so funny. Like I work as a nurse's assistant.
Yeah.
From this time to this time.
I've got kids. Yeah.
And now after work, these are some things that I can go do that help keep me a little bit in shape or keep me feeling good or whatever. And it just feels like, there's a community for everyone, which just like feels more realistic, because sometimes I'm just like, you cannot, like, I think people don't realize, I mean, there's some celebrities where I'm like, their life is working out. Like they wake up, they have a chef make them a smoothie that has like, that would be like $25 at Erewhon.
Yeah.
Then they have a personal trainer in their house. Yes. Then they go do XYZ. They're working out constantly. They can have all their food made for them or delivered. Yeah. And it's like, you cannot compare yourself to that person. Even like, when I watched a while ago, I think it was helpful to me. This was when I was in high school, but it was like a Victoria's Secret model doing a day in the life. And she was like, I woke up and I had a banana, and then I ran for 7 miles, and then I came home and I had a bit of aloe vera straight from the plant. And I'm just like, oh, right, we don't live, I couldn't do this even if I wanted to. Yeah. I mean, also that's unhealthy, but like I could not do this. This is crazy. I don't have the time.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's why I just think that everyone needs to this is for fitness influence specifically. You need to have like a breakdown of your body health, pre-existing conditions, so people can, and like not like, I mean, relevant pre-existing conditions. So if like someone who's going on there is like pre-diabetic, or like they have a very hectic lifestyle, they can all like they feel like they can manage expectations. Because like I smoke, and it would be and a lot of people don't know this, but like if I go onto like a fitness experts page and I'm like not getting the results, or I'm winded, I would be like, what's wrong with your workout? Meanwhile, there's a pre-existing thing that does not align with the fitness influencer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also, if I could say, I feel like you shouldn't go into with that many expectations.
Yes.
Anyways, I think like there's some great influencers who just like don't talk. They're not doing body checks in their videos. You know, they're not doing like, they're just kind of like, here's how to feel good, look good. Because I'm like, I think it will just naturally come. Like if you're working out all the time and you're eating in a way that's like healthy, your body's going to change in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know what way that will be.
Yeah.
But I think even sometimes people, it's just like, your body is not a sim. You can't like, and I think also it's like, you shouldn't want to make your body a certain way. I think you got to look inward and be like, why do I feel like I need to change my body to look like that? Especially if you want to be like into fitness, as if I don't know anything. I like not a fitness person, but I do feel like if you're leaving the gym every day and going to look in the mirror and being like, does it look different? It's like, that is just not going to carry you anywhere. You are not going to be able to keep it up, because it's based on something that like isn't motivating. It's based on something like isn't that important. It's like, I think if I'm going to the gym all the time and I feel so good and like feel like my mental health is better and feel more confident and feel just like, and then that hour a day I'm feeling like so at peace and just better, it's like, that's going to make me be like, I got to get to the gym. I got to go do the gym. Rather than being like, well, I hated myself on Tuesday, but now I like don't care as much, so I'm not gonna go. It's like that like is not sustainable. It is sad.
I think individual like fitness influencers should have like some sort of intro video on their page, like maybe pinned, where it's like, this is the headspace I am in and you should be in. So like there's different reasons people want to get fit, whether they just want to be able to walk upstairs or have some endorphins. Naomi has some, they talk about this on their public TikTok, have some body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
So when they work out, they go to gender nonconforming people who understand workouts that like don't feminize you, but do build muscle, because, you know, if they might get dysphoric if they build a butt and their pants start to not fit. Yeah. So like, and I mean, I feel like gender nonconforming people or trans fitness experts are pretty good at like aligning goals.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone else is like, this is the headspace you need to be in. Even if they're like straight up like, I have body control issues. Yeah. That would be like, okay. Or like, it's like if you just want to walk upstairs, you know?
Yes, totally. I totally agree.
But so there are some risks of, like we've been talking about, you know, the social media fitness content. You know, some people are not properly certified. They could be spreading incorrect advice. You know, they could be getting people's hopes up. But again, that's just like individuals needing to like also establish expectations with yourself. We did want to touch on, this could be a separate topic, filming yourself at the gym, which could easily segue into filming people in public. So we're going to do that as a separate topic. But I did want to touch on filming people at the gym.
Yeah, it's wild. It is so, and I've received, and these are people who are trying to be nice and in good faith. But like I've received so many DMs before of photos of like someone who's not me at the gym.
Yeah.
It usually makes me laugh because there's been multiple times it's like an old woman who's like 70 on the treadmill.
Yeah.
This happened multiple times because I think a lot of people think I'm an old woman because most of my content is me pretending to be an old woman. But they'll be like, oh my God, saw you at the gym. I was too nervous to come up to you. And I'm like, that's not me. But also, don't take a picture of me and send it to me at the gym.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I don't need proof from you that you saw me at the gym. I don't care. I mean, unless you want to chat with me, like that's nice. It's nice that thank you, but like don't take a picture of me.
Yeah.
But people are always like, I saw you at the gym and send a photo of someone who's not me. But I'm like, this person, it is so vulnerable to go to the gym. It really is, especially like early on. I was thinking about this the other day where it's like, you know how the gym is always like fully packed on January 1st? People talk about it's like that is the most vulnerable day to go in. You like walk in, the receptionist like knows. It's like, this is the person I don't know. And I'm having to tell this receptionist like, yeah, I'm not happy with myself. So I'm here and I wish I was different.
Oh my gosh. You want to know what's also packed that people don't talk about in January? AA. They're packed. And I mean, like, I'm so happy you're there. Like, I'm happy that you're curious. But, and I wish and I'm not saying, like, you won't be here in February. I'm saying, like, it's like it's everyone's making a resolution.
I wonder if there's, like, statistics, there probably are somewhere, but of, like, businesses that just, like, have by far less sales than they do every other day of the year. Like, I wonder if, like, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, whatever, just January 1st, like, plummets. Because it's like, who's going to eat that on January? Well, maybe me, but who's going to eat that on January 1st? That's so not, I don't know. I'm just interested to know.
No, yeah. I mean, it's like fireworks spikes in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And then at the end. So it's like stores that are only selling Christmas stuff. It's like, how do you sustain yourself at that point?
I know.
But it said in a recent poll, 43% of respondents reported taking photos or videos at the gym, and 27% of those were selfies, which I do understand. I like have gone to the gym before. Like I've watched gym content and I'm like, oh my God, we get it. But then when I'm at the gym and I feel great, I'm like, I got to take a picture.
Yeah.
So I totally get it.
I feel like I've tried to take a selfie at the gym, and every single time I've been like, good God. I'm a sweater. I'm
super sweaty.
So much.
I know what people choose to do with their life is none of my business. But when I see someone working out with their hair down, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
It's crazy. And also, I know because of Extension Gate 2023, I was like looking into I was researching like how am I going to work out with extensions?
Yeah.
And all of these women were like, here's how to work out with extensions. You put on this little headband.
Yeah.
You go into the gym and then you take it out after and you're good to go. And I was like, yeah, this is the least helpful video. My hair is going to be soaking wet.
Oh, yeah.
Like dripping wet. And I was like, this is not going to be sustainable. So I just cut it all off. But it's wild. Some people look so, they really glisten.
Yeah. It says Chad Weitzig, vice president of Crunch Fitness, told the Wall Street that the studio encourages photo taking. Staff, however, have begun on the look. It started to become like a disruptive behavior, like filming in the locker rooms. You shouldn't do that.
Oh my God.
Even if you have the best intentions, you could catch someone in the background and intentions go out the window. You've just filmed someone nude, you know? And so it's a balancing act. You have to be incredibly aware of your surroundings. If you're going to film yourself, take your headphones off and make sure you can hear the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also, but filming workouts is also in order to evaluate their form, which I understand. That's why dancers dance in front of a mirror. So you can correct yourself. But again, these are people in their most vulnerable, sweaty moments.
Yeah.
And the idea of a fitness guru, instructing the perfect overhead press. And I'm in the background doing my modified carpal tunnel workout.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also if gym culture was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would be like, you shouldn't film people. But I'm like, the fact that it's paired with the most mean culture I've literally ever seen on a TikTok comment section, that I've seen
on like any comment section on any social media, anyone who is not like the most fit, in shape person that looks stereotypically like how people think they should look, people literally, gym bros in the comments are like, you should end it all. I mean, it's like so bad, so mean. They will get a video of a girl who's like doing a workout and looks pretty in shape, but also just like maybe did it a little wrong, but like not even that bad. And it is like reamed on the internet. So I'm like, to me, that makes it just be like, there should be no filming allowed because you cannot, I don't know, they're so mean.
Yeah, I would rather break my neck than a straight man come correct my form. Like a woman, or if you like anyone else who looks a little bit fruity, like but if a man's like, you could, I'm just don't give me feedback. But and like, I mean, everyone has made this point like a million times, but like, you're at the gym to get fit. Right. So filming someone for not being fit, like the fittest, it's like that most of us here are here to improve.
It's also like they act as though men at gyms, I feel like they're like, this is our domain. And I'm like, okay, yes, there are less women here because we are all so uncomfortable to be here with you that most of us work at either an all-female gym or do it at home because, and I like do think about it. Anytime I go to the gym, I'm like, oh God, I like where am I going to work out? Like when I'm sitting down my mat, I'm like, where should I go where there's like the least amount of men possible? And it's like, men are not, it's not as if our population is, men are more in shape than women. Yeah. So how you think that like the gym, not you, I keep pointing at you and saying, how do you think? So how these men think that like they are the predominant people who go to gyms. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's like, it's you know, you talk about like man spreading. It's like they're just they're used to getting like taking up all the space they can. Like I do remember a time when I was in the weight section and I was sitting down on a bench and like it was where the bench was supposed to be. And this dude had like 2 free weights and he was like started to like lift. He started to like lift. What's this called? Like he was lifting the weights.
Like I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was so close to me. He like hit me, like raising his arm. And it like made this like big streak up my arm. And he like looked at me like I was the one. I was like, this bench is like.
Did you say anything?
No, I just moved because like but
that's
also,
what I do.
I can't stand the fucking grunting. If you're grunting that loud, it is too heavy for you or you're being dramatic.
That was today when I went, this guy is like, I'm like, and like, it's actually, as a person who is a janitor at a gym, it is bad etiquette to throw your weight on the ground. You're not supposed to do that. That's, first of all, dangerous. It's also bad for the floors, bad for the weight. And once again, too heavy for you. Unless you're in an Olympic power weight competition or at a private like power weight, which I don't know anything about that stuff. So maybe someone could be like, you're also not supposed to do that there. But I assume that's how it works.
I think powerlifting, you can't throw it.
Yeah, you can like, I've seen like videos of like Olympic power, but I'm like, when you're at a crunch gym or a 24-hour fitness, you are not supposed to throw a weight on the ground. You're going to literally kill someone. And also like, once again, the thing you're none of those people are powerless. They're just like, have weights. Like nobody is doing a full over their head thing. So I'm like, it's too heavy for you.
Yeah, it's again, auditory man spreading. You're just trying to like, call attention to yourself. Like, look at me. It's just get a life.
It's embarrassing.
The filming, we need to stop, or you need to be very aware, or just check with your gym policy. I mean, it's really like, you have to understand like nuance of like, some people also will see someone filming, but if you're filming in like a heavily populated area, you should probably go somewhere where there's like cycles, it's like bicycles, like, you know, like, and so like, guys, this is how you do this.
Yeah, you know? 100%. Because even, I mean, I film for a living in public all the time. Yeah. And I have to be very careful not to get people in it or more, you know, people's voices in it. Because you never know, someone could be being like, my name is Justina and I'm cheating on my husband.
And my credit card number is... Mia did touch briefly on orthorexia, but you guys understand... I think you... So orthorexia, it just briefly, it's an eating disorder that involves unhealthy obsession with healthy eating. So like they, instead of typically starving or binging and purging. It's like where you're so meticulous with your calories. It borders on anorexia, but it's more fitness based.
Yes. Well, this is what I was talking about because I'm like, I totally am like, yeah, eating healthy is good. Like that is important. It's becoming a huge priority in my life. Like I'm like very pro eating healthy and nourishing your body. But it's like when, for example, I had a personal trainer who, once again, I'd been like, I don't want to tell you what I'm eating. I was also, this was a couple years ago, I was a little less confrontational than I am now, if you can imagine. So really not confrontational. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I ended up doing this app where I would like put in what I was eating, which I didn't want to do, but I ended up doing. Yeah. There was a day I sent her, I was like, this is why this is hard because I don't eat a lot of prepackaged stuff, which is healthier. Yeah. But I think it makes a lot of people just only eat prepackaged stuff because they can control and see what the amount of calories or whatever. So she was like, well, then send me a picture of what you're eating. And it was like a salad. Yeah. Which to me, I'm like, just be like, great. I don't need to know. It was like a garden salad. It's not like it was from McDonald's with a bunch of like bacon on it. It was like very normal. Yeah. And she was like, okay, well, you just have to input each vegetable per thing it is. So like what type of tomato is that? Is it heirloom or cherry? First of all,
who cares?
It's a cherry tomato, and if you don't know the difference between an heirloom and a cherry tomato, you should not be telling anyone about their eating habits. Yeah. One is the size of a full onion, and the other is the size of a tiny cherry tomato. Yes. And I was like, yeah, that's not healthy. Like what you're asking me to do is disordered eating. Like you are literally trying to convince me. So I think it's not about like being like, what you eat doesn't matter what you eat because it totally does. But I think when a trainer is like, you should never go to a meal and not be thinking about like your fitness journey. I'm like, I just don't agree with that. I think there should be meals where you go and you're not thinking about it because I think if you're like in a healthy place, you naturally won't think about it. Like I think if you're like eating good, not like 70% of the time, you're working out, you're whatever. I don't think when you go to have like a huge fajita dinner at Salsa and Beer, my favorite restaurant in LA, with a huge margarita, you're going to be like, oh my God, because that will not ruin your fitness. That's I think what's annoying to me is I'm like, that won't ruin anything you've done. Yeah. Like one meal, and that's disordered eating. So I think it's very hard where I think a lot of people who are into fitness, I'm like, you got to get a little more educated. Yeah. And maybe, I guess I'm like, well, so do I, but I'm like, I'm not spreading any information, I guess, besides this podcast episode. But like, I'm not a fitness influencer.
I would say work on your mental health. I mean, because like you have to have a clear mind, like addiction sort of things. If you're like, if you want to stop drink, like say you drink because you have horrible social anxiety, instead of going into like, that's a pre-existing thing, and then you try to get sober, you're going to enter more social situations where that was not addressed. Yeah. So when you get more comfortable, like, you know, maybe you get on anxiety meds or you do some exposure therapy where like social situations are easier, you cutting back on drinking won't be so daunting because you laid the mental groundwork. And so like if you have large pre-existing mental health conditions, also work on that when you get into fitness, or else it could devolve into something unhealthy like calorie counting, obsessive thinking. Yes. Yeah. But
well, there we go.
There we go, guys.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Be better.
Be better.
Try. No.
No, but I actually have seen some of the most, like a video on the internet about fitness where I just want to scream at the person in the video. I'd be like, this is so mean. Like, or just like, especially, first of all, gym comedy, it's just not funny. I'm sorry. No. Like, just from a comedy standpoint.
It's, I mean, we all know hot people making jokes. It's like, you know,
If you're doing any comedy in a gym, I'm just not interested in, I think it's kind of, you know, it's also one of those things where people will be like, you can't make any jokes anymore. Yeah. And I'm like, I debatably think there's a lot of jokes you can make if you actually have a good punchline and it's a good joke. Yeah. Obviously, besides some really offensive things you shouldn't say. Yeah. But I think the problem is sometimes people are just so unfunny and then they tell a joke that's also pretty offensive. And you're like, you can't. Yeah. And that's how the gym stuff is. I'm like, this is mean-spirited. Yeah. You're generally not funny. Yes. So yeah, nobody, but then they have more followers than me. So what am I? Give them a Hulu special. I don't know. There we go. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for being here. Is what I always feel the need to say.
Thanks, Kendahl, for showing up to work today. We did it.
Woo! If you are listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below.
Tell us your gym horror stories, or stop filming people in public, or talk about a time you were filmed in public.
Yeah. And then if you're listening, We appreciate you. Rate us 5 stars if you feel so inclined. We're on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast, really.
Yes. And thank you guys. We're new episodes every Wednesday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.